Welcome back, Year 8, and welcome to another maths lesson in my wonderful new classroom. Today it is Statistics Lesson 4, and our objective is, can you find the mean from a frequency table? Bronze success criteria to understand how we record data in a frequency table. Silver can find the totals needed to calculate the mean from a frequency table, and gold can find the mean from a frequency table. Our keywords, not many today: data, mean, frequency and table. Our Fast 5 today. The first couple are a little tricky. They're ones to make you think a little, and the last three to just revisit ideas on mode, median and range. So pause the video please and do the Fast 5. Okay, let's see how you've done on these. Number 1, the mean of 5 numbers is 6. What is the total of the 5 numbers? Well, we know that the mean is the total divided by how many numbers there are. So the total divided by 5 equals 6. Therefore, the total must be 5 times 6, which equals 30. Question 2. 4 numbers have a mean of 8. Another number is added, and now their mean is 9. What number was added? 4 numbers have a mean of 8. So that means their total must be 4 times 8, which is 32. Another number is added, so now there are 5 numbers, and now their mean is 9. So 5 times 9 means their total must be 45. What number was added? Well, the 5th number must be 45, take away 32, which is 13. This sort of question, question 2, is one of the most commonly misanswered questions that you will come across in a test. People read it and think, oh, if the mean has gone up 1, the number must have gone up 1, and they answer 9. It is never as simple as that. Question 3, what is the mode? I've thrown this one in just to remind you that you can have more than one mode. You can have either 0 modes, 1 mode, or 2 modes. And here, this is an example where there are 2 modes. 2 and 11 both appear twice, therefore the mode is 2 and 11. Question 4, what is the median? Well, I'd set these numbers out in order from smallest to largest, but there was an even number of data values. Therefore, you add the middle 2, 4 adds 7, which is 11, and divide that by 2 to find your median. 11 divided by 2 gives us the median value of 5.5. And the final question, what is the range? -5, 0 to 7. The range is the highest number, take away the lowest number. 7 take away -5. Subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. 7 add 5, 12. The range is 12. Okay, so let's move on to the bulk of today's lesson. Oh, before we do that, last lesson, if you remember, the challenge question, we didn't have an answer for it due to technical difficulties. Therefore, here is last lesson's challenge question where you had to find the smallest value of x, which will give you a median of 11. Well, for the smallest value of x to give you a median value of 11, it had to be the first value after these 16. 8, 11 and 5 is 16. So the 16 data values before 11, we need the 17th data value to be 11. 16 add 1, and then we need another 16 after that 11, 33 data values in total. We've actually been given 8 add 3, add 5, add 7, add 2, we've been given 25 data values. So in order for there to be 33 data values in all, x has got to equal 8 in order for us to give a median of 11. Okay, so x must equal 8. Right, moving on then to today's lesson. How to find the mean for the following set of data values. So we have a frequency table. Number of siblings, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Frequency, 6, 11, 22, 8, 2 and 1. How would we approach this normally? Well, let's just redefine what we mean by the mean. Well, the mean is where we add up all the data values, and then when we've got that total, we divide by how many data values there are. So we add up all the data values and then divide by how many data values there are. That is our definition. That is what we mean by the mean. So here we know that we've got 6 zeros. So we'd add up 0 6 times. Where are we? Let's have a look. 0, add 0, add 0, add 0, add 0, add 0. There's 6 zeros. And then we've got 11 ones. Add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 ones. Add 22 twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dear me, I'm starting to run out of patience with this already, and I've still got loads more to add together. That is starting to look like a long, lengthy task. There must be a simpler way of doing it. And actually there is. Let me stick a couple of brackets on here around all the zeros and around all the ones. How many zeros have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 zeros. I've got 6 times 0. How many ones have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 11 times 1. And I haven't quite finished off writing down all my 2's. But if I did finish writing it all off, I know from my table that I've got 22 times 2. And I know that I've got to add up all my data values. That's what I'm doing here. So if I work this little bit out and this little bit out and this little bit out, and then add them all together, oops, then it would give me the total that I'm looking for. But what a lot of messing about writing it all down like that. So let's look if there is a simpler way using my table. And in fact there is. What we do is we add on a new column which we call fx. Now f is just an abbreviation for frequency. X stands for the type of data. Here it just stands for number of siblings. If it was scores in a test, it'd stand for scores in a test. And what it means is this column, it's where we multiply these two numbers together. It's what we've just been doing on the previous slide here, but instead of making it all messy down underneath, we do it in the table and make it really nice and straightforward. So for instance here, we just put a little times sign here, and a little times sign here, just showing that we're going to times all these numbers together. Sorry, I should really call it a multiplication sign rather than a times sign. So we just put a multiplication sign all the way down, showing that we're going to multiply these two numbers. Now, 0 times 6. Always one that a lot of people make a mistake on. 0 times anything is 0. Don't make the mistake and put 6. 1 times 11 is 11. 2 times 22 is 44. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 2 is 8. And the last one, 5 times 1 is 5. There we go. So that's our fx column completed. Now we know from our definition, let's just go back, let's just take a copy of this definition and paste it onto here. Let's move it down where we can see it a bit better. We add up all the data values and we divide by how many data values there are. Well, the frequency tells us how many data values there are. I mean, there were 6 people with 0 siblings, 11 people with 1 sibling. So we add up this column, it will tell us how many data values there are. And 6 add 11, add 22, add 8, add 2, add 1 gives us a total of 50 people. Our fx column gives us a total for all the data values. For instance, these 11 people had 1 sibling, so there was 11 siblings in all. These 22 people had 2 siblings, so these 22 people had 44 siblings in all. The total number of siblings, if we add all this lot together, comes to 92. There were 92 siblings in all. So our mean for this frequency table, our mean is 92, which is the total number of siblings, divided by 50, which is the total number of data values that were collected, and that comes to 1.84. That is the mean for this set of data. Now, we don't round means, remember that. Even though it doesn't necessarily make a great deal of sense, you wouldn't have 1.84 brothers or sisters, we always record a mean as a decimal. So do not round it at any point, 1.84. Right, moving on. Here are some questions for you to do. These are some nice basic ones just to get you used to the idea. The first couple have got the fx column drawn in for you. You have to work out the fx and then the total, and the total for the fx column, the total for the frequency column. Divide this total by this total to give yourself the mean. The second group of questions, you have to add the column yourself, but it's pretty much more of the same thing. This is just to get you used to the idea of how we work out the mean for frequency tables. Pause the video please, draw out the tables and have a go at these questions. Thank you. Okay, let's see how you've done. So the mean for question 1 on red was 1, the mean for question 2 on red was 6, and the mean for question 1 on orange was 13.6, and for question 2, 2.34. We now move on to two slightly trickier, in that these have larger numbers to deal with, but if you are using a calculator, these should present no greater problems than the ones before. Again, remember to draw the third column. Pause your video, have a go, come back to here when you've had a go. Okay, let's see how you've done. Number 1, the mean is 2.205, and number 2, the mean is 30.127. Okay. Finally for today, a couple of challenge questions. This is where you're given a frequency table and you're given the mean, but there is one value missing from the frequency table. So this is a real challenge where what you've got to do is work out the missing value of x for both frequency tables. I can tell you now the first one is much easier because the number you're multiplying by is 0. The second one is significantly more difficult. Pause the video and have a go and see if you can work these through. They are considerably more difficult than the questions you have been doing. Okay, here are your answers. Question 1, x equals 10. Question 2, x equals 7. Now, if you did not actually get those answers the first time, try working through them again and see if you can get to the answers a second time. It's very important that you draw on the extra column, the fx column. It's very important that you work through as you normally would using x, and then try and work backwards to find out what x actually is. Okay, Year 8, that's the end of this week's lessons, which is on your introduction to finding mode, median and mean from frequency tables. Next week we'll be moving on to more advanced statistics-based lessons. Hopefully that you've understood this. Please remember to complete the forms for this week so that I can see that you've engaged with this week's lessons. Very important. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you very much.